Right next to my lips.
In my mouth.
The ghost is like,
Not in my house.
Man thing.
Man thing.
Oh, we're safe.
We're in a safe room. She can't get us here.
Say the safe word in the safe room. Safe.
Safe.
Safe room, safe.
What would the safe word be in Resident Evil 8?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you. I know.
Yeah. Wow, that's really good. I think the safe word would have to revolve around what Lady D says. Right? She just says so many iconic lines.
Man thing.
Man thing.
Man thing.
Thing. Man.
Thing.
Man. That's a safe word, man.
Man.
Stop it, man. And they're like, oh no, she said the safe word. Can't go any further.
Me in the castle. Stop it, man.
Man.
Oh,
you've gone too far.
You've gone too far. Ethan Winters.
Ethan.
Welcome back to another episode of the Afterschool Special Club podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Mary, and I'm back.
Sadly.
Yeah, I know. Chris was really disappointed when I came back, and I wanted to surprise him one day and be like, hey, Chris, I'm back, but I decided just to come here and film with you, and this is the first time he's seen me, and
yeah,
he's really excited.
I was caught off guard. I'm gonna edit something in there. Awooga!
Awooga! Done with that. But that was the whole. That was a whole.
And that
use
was
of that
it. Thank you for watching.
Goodbye.
But yeah, we are in my kitchen again. We're kind of in between sets, if you can call them that.
And thank you for taking the reins. You uploaded beautiful videos, and I watched them from a distance, social distanced.
Yeah.
And I
couple thousand miles.
Yeah, I mean, I really take this stuff seriously. I'm like 6 feet, more like 6,000
miles.
But anyway, I think you did a great job while I was gone.
Thanks.
So cheers to that. But I am back for one episode, and then and then Chris, you are.
I'm going on a secret space mission to Jupiter, just like Mary.
Yeah, space was okay.
Yeah, kind of lame.
Yeah,
There's billionaires up there.
I looked out the window and I was like, ugh, it's Jeff Bezos.
Ugh, red spot again.
Yeah, it's just too dark. Where are the lights?
Yeah, right? It's just gas.
Where's the infrastructure?
There isn't
There's
any.
no lamps. How are you supposed to get home safe in space?
I don't know, but you made it.
I did make it back. The oxygen is so much better here where there is oxygen.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're in my kitchen. Like I said, we're kind of in between sets. We're going to set up a sort of like permanent set in my side room at my apartment because that space is opening up, and I am very fortunate to have that space considering we live in SF and it costs $1,000 to live in a closet. So
yeah, seriously, like you said, oh, we can have our own little tiny studio, and I was like, are we billionaires? Because
basically
in San Francisco, it's like you want even that space for that studio. It's like
that could be a room.
Yeah,
like a bedroom.
You could charge
like $600,
$1,500. Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was thinking of the rent control that I have.
Okay, that's true. Okay, if you didn't have rent control, you could charge
$1,500.
Yeah, like you think of a doghouse size, and they're like, that'll be $2,000, please.
Fork it over.
That was eerie.
Lake
cool.
Erie.
Lake Erie. I went there on my space travels.
To Lake Erie, Jupiter.
Yeah, but it's good being back in SF. Traveling is weird during this time just because of everything.
Yeah.
COVID restrictions and all that. There was someone on my plane.
Oh, yeah. Please tell the people about this.
Oh, yes. So I was on my way to Florida.
Florida. You spin me right round, baby, right round
where
like a record.
Where all those songs originated. Florida. The great Bible Belt.
Oh, God.
The Bible Belt. On the way there. And this person, like, you're required to wear a mask over your nose and your mouth, which some people, it's really hard for them to realize that you have more holes than just your mouth. You have holes in your nose.
You heard it here.
Guys, you have holes in your nose, just so you know.
Just so you know.
That was a good one. But Anyway, so this guy, I guess at some point, like I didn't see the like original footage of it or like the vantage point. So I was like behind him, right? And I couldn't really see what was going on until he was yelling at that point. But two of the stewardesses came over and they were like, sir, you have to wear your mask over your nose too.
Right.
Like, not just your mouth. And then I just heard like belligerent. I didn't like hear anything specific, but I heard him going like, yeah. And like you could tell like threatening of physical verbiage just from like hands. And like he was like,
absolutely.
He was like throwing his hands up.
He was
and,
like,
fuck you. Sorry, we'll censor that out with buff you.
Fuck, I have to write these down.
Yeah.
Time codes.
Buff you. Buffy. But so he was doing that and I was like, oh yeah, we got ourselves a non-masker. I've heard about this stuff in the news this whole time and I'm actually experiencing it
firsthand
on the plane. I was like, wow, lucky us, just the plane and the stewardesses for dealing with it. But he at one point yelled Ric Flair really loudly. And then he got other people around him to also be like, and I was like, of course we're going to Fort Lauderdale. But at that point I was like, oh, I know I'm going to Florida.
You're like, oh, I know I'm going to Florida.
Yeah. So those two of the stewardesses came over. They tried to de-escalate the situation. They were like, sorry, you have to wear your mask. And he was being difficult, of course.
Of course.
And then I saw on the back of his shirt.
The iconic phrase. Straight from the Bible.
Red, white, and boobs. And I was like, of course this man is making a ruckus wearing that
red, white,
shirt.
and boobs.
Yeah, with like a woman straddling a nuke. I'm like, of course.
I'll put a photo on screen for those watching the video podcast because we found this. So like later on, like when Mary came back, we went to a bar for our friends going away, and she was telling this story, and our friend found the exact shirt online. So I'm gonna put it over the screen.
Yeah, okay. I was also so proud that she found that shirt, and it's just amazing. But yeah, that's coming on the way here. But the situation got to the point where all the stewardesses, like everyone was involved, even the people on the plane were involved, the flight attendants. And one of the flight attendants came over and de-escalated the situation right away with the words, "Are we going to have a discrepancy?"
So iconic.
I know. I was like, this woman is iconic. I was like, she shut it down. And his face, I could see his side of his face, like his profile. He was getting red in the face.
Oh,
finally. Like,
God bless.
I was like, when are you going to be embarrassed, man?
Right? Like, come on.
Yeah. And anyway, cut the story short. She like just completely dominated that situation, shut him down, and he shut up. She's like, are we going to be on the 6 o'clock news? Because I don't want to be on the 6 o'clock news. And then he shut up. So cheers to the flight attendants who are dealing with this garbage. Seriously, they're amazing.
Right. Yeah, I have a flight tomorrow, and I'm like it's the thing is my flight is early, so I'm just like really hoping that this kind of bullshit doesn't happen because like it's gonna be like 8:30 in the morning. I'm gonna be like, listen, like we all got here at 6 o'clock, sun barely up, had our shitty airport Starbucks, like. Shut up. Put your fucking mask on. Get over it. It's 6 hours. I wear a mask 8+ hours a day working.
Yeah.
Like you can sit still in a fucking mask for 6 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope it goes well.
But if not, you'll hear about it.
Yeah. The flight attendant, she'll be on that plane.
She'll be like, are we going to have a discrepancy? To me, she knows that I know. And I'm like,
So you're like wearing your mask and like following all the rules. Yeah. You put your tray table up at the exact time that she says put your tray table up.
Before they even say to do it.
Yeah, you're like, gotta do it.
I already know.
We're going to land soon. She's like, are we going to have a discrepancy?
And I'm like, no.
I mean, now.
I'm like, we are now.
Just that. Put your fists up. Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are. Do you think they'll be serving alcohol at 8:30 in the morning?
They're like, for all you alcoholics.
And I'm like,
me please.
Me please. Oh, I want a Bloody Mary. Just kidding. I hate Bloody Marys, but like.
You hate me? I'm scared. Only during some. Oh, I'm not gonna say that. That's
today
too
we're
much.
Sponsored by
Tampax.
Tampax Pearl.
Yeah.
I don't know what the distinction.
I don't know what the distinction is between Tampax Pearl.
It's
a thing. I have no idea what Tampax Pearl is. I was like, it's a tampon that
with a pearl in it.
With a pearl in it.
That sounds like a yeast infection waiting to happen.
It's like, oh, they found my pearl.
Oh, my pearl.
That's been lodged in there since circa 2004. Anyway, so that was fun, but I wish you luck with your travels.
Thank you. Me too.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be weird. Like, I feel like everyone's going to be like heightened emotion because of COVID.
Yeah.
Especially because like that girl Delta, she's like on the rise.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the airline because I'm flying United.
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to be any part of Delta. I need to fly United.
This episode is sponsored by United Airways.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. We can't. So that's my advice. Is just like, there's so much stuff going on right now. It's like, there's so many variants that are spooking around right now. They're like, guess what, guys? There's another one and another one and another one. But like, just live your life because we don't know how much longer we got. So
that's true. This episode is sponsored by The Morgue.
Pile them up. Get them in the freezer while they're hot.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, live your life and like just like follow the rules. Be respectful to other people. Like, it'll make you happier and it'll make other people happier. And you won't die. I mean, you're gonna die, but like not right away. Like, you might stay on your scheduled path to death. I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, that's so funny. But anyway, so you'll be gone soon.
Yeah, but we're gonna do.
Speaking of death, you'll be gone soon. Oh, I'm not even gonna joke. I'm not even gonna joke about that. That's not even funny.
I know I have to fly.
That's not even funny. I take that back like so much.
But I will be gone to Jupiter.
To Jupiter.
To get more stupider, as they used to say.
Oh yeah, I remember that saying. The things they teach us.
So yeah,
I feel like a teacher taught us that.
Just like the second grade with the overhead projector. She's like writing it on that like clear piece of paper. She's like, boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider. She's
like, this is fact.
Sorry, I don't make the rules.
Learn it now. We're not going to write you how to teach you how to make a bank account and things you need to know, but you get stupider if boys go to Jupiter.
See, I'll be gone, but we're going to do a Zoom sesh. We're going to set it up. I am kind of excited because I have an idea for like, because obviously we're going to like record the Zoom session and our video, it's going to be like our two video feeds side by side. So I was thinking of cropping it and then having like the like ocean background that I made for our like header and like the background for like our thumbnail and everything.
Yeah.
Doing that as the background and have our videos over it.
Oh, that sounds great. I like that.
So we'll see.
Chris is a genius, guys.
Thank you. I did not go to Jupiter, so I did not get stupider.
That's true. No, but I guess like besides traveling and all those wonderful things, have you been playing any games?
Nope.
Yeah.
This last week has been crazy. Because like, obviously I was like preparing to go on vacation. And so I was like thinking about that. And then, so of course I'm like preparing to be away from work for 2 weeks. So I was like dealing with setting all of that stuff up with all the necessary people that I had to. And then on top of that, like my friend was visiting from New York and she was here the entire week. She left yesterday. So I was just like busy the whole week. And I played like a little bit more of God of War because like I was talking before about how like that's kind of what I'm playing right now. And it's a long game. So I'm like, I don't even know if I'm like halfway done yet. Because the thing is like I'm pulling a U and I'm like doing all the side quests as they like accumulate. Yeah. And it is kind of nice because like it'll be like, oh, there's like a few areas you can explore and a few side quests, and then you have to go back to the main plot. And then like you finish a part of the main plot and then you can go and do more side quests. So I've just been like actually doing that. So I don't even know, like I've probably put in like 15 hours.
That's pretty good.
I don't know how far I am.
I mean, both of those things are good. You're still enjoying it.
Yeah.
That means, yeah.
And I can
Time's flying.
tell that like I must not be too far along because there's still certain like magic that I don't have yet. So yeah.
Yeah. No, God of War is such a beautiful game. It's like a master class in how to do open world but still storyline game very well. It's like a combination of the two.
Oh yeah.
Which is like I really love story driven single player games that
same.
Are cinematic. And I feel like God of War, when I played it initially, which was, a couple months ago probably, I really was impressed the fact that it started out that way and then it went into open world.
Oh yeah,
which
like
I wasn't
immediately.
expecting. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like I
love to see it.
Yeah, because I honestly I know Dad of War, which I call it. Like I didn't play it till it came out like years later. Like I first time playing it was, and I didn't even look at a lot of spoilers or anything online. Like I was just going based off of the fact that I was like, okay, I played God of War 3.
Yeah,
and I really enjoyed that. And I feel like this game is a little different, but I'm not sure how it's different.
Yeah.
And then playing through it, I was like, wow, this is different, but in a really good way.
Yeah.
Like, I was really impressed. And especially when it went to the open world section of the game, because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, right. I just remember like being on the lake and then like the serpent comes out and like the water goes down. And I was just like, oh shit. And then you can just like go and explore. I was like, hello?
Yeah. Hello, serpent?
Hello, world serpent?
Yeah, the world serpent.
And he's like,
yeah, because that was really gorgeous because you saw it in the background.
Yeah, and he moves in the background. Like it's not static.
Yeah. Gosh, that game is very beautiful. So I'm glad you're playing through that. Yes.
Worst time you take a sip. Yeah, and so like that's what I've been doing recently, and then I'll see what I have at home because I'm gonna visit my parents and see what games I still have at home. I was telling Mary offline that like I stupidly, because at the time I didn't realize the value, sold a lot of my games when I was a kid to GameStop.
And did you get like 50 cents and you get what you get? Like
basically
yeah.
50 cents and a receipt. They're like, there you go.
Yeah. They're like, here's proof for you later on in your life when you've sold these to look back at the amount that you got and the amount that it's worth now and be like, brr. I've had a very similar experience to this. So anyway, go on.
So yeah, I'll be excited to see what I actually still have in my old room, because I told my mom, I was like, don't throw anything away. Like, like I'll sort through stuff whenever I get around to visiting, which has been like 2.5 years. So, I do know for sure that I have the OG Final Fantasy IX in the chunky case.
Yes.
I was telling you, I think that I still have the original Kingdom Hearts 2 box with the silver background.
Oh, I love that.
And like all of them sitting on the heart. Or however it's designed, I kind of forget. But I think I know I bought that, but I was telling Mary I may have sold that and then rebought a copy of it from Hollywood Video when it closed in my hometown.
Love that. I love that. Oh, not that Hollywood Video closed entirely because I miss it, but the fact that you were like, I'm going to bank off this. No,
literally, because they were because I used to go, obviously, because like I couldn't afford to just buy games out the ass because I was a kid. We would go and rent video games. And I remember when they closed, like, and they were just like liquidating everything, I went and I bought like a shit ton of games. So I might have Kingdom Hearts 2 in like a weird black case with no cover.
Just like a Hollywood Video and like the yeah.
So we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited. I know that I have a bunch there and like a bunch of like PS2 games. I think I have the original Final Fantasy X.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
Was that a greatest hits? You know how like they have the PlayStation like greatest hits? Like, do you remember if Final Fantasy X was a greatest hits? I feel like it was.
I think it was.
Okay.
And I think, so if I do have it, I have greatest hits because I would have gotten it a couple of years after it came out. Kingdom Hearts 2, though, I know I have the original box that's not greatest hits because I bought it when it came out.
Okay.
I don't remember if I told this story on the podcast about how I just chose it randomly.
No, you haven't told on the podcast. You told me. I told you. But yeah.
So basically, when I was younger, we would go to Best Buy as a family after dinner.
Yeah, of course.
Because there was nothing else to do.
Best choice, Best Buy.
And I would browse the music. I would browse the CDs. crazy, right? I would browse the CDs and I would go look at the video games. And I remember I wanted to buy Final Fantasy X too, because it looked cool on the cover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And my dad said no, because it had scantily clad women on the cover, and I was like 12.
He's like, you won't have anything to do with
you will not
women.
have anything to do with scantily clad women. And then a year later, I was gay.
You were like, you're right, Dad.
Cause and effect.
You're right, Dad. I didn't have anything to do with scantily clad women.
But anyway, I wanted Final Fantasy X too, because I was like, the cover is really cool. And my dad was like, no. So I was like, well, then I want that. And it was next to it was Kingdom Hearts 2. Like brand new. So it was like $60 or like 50. I think back then it was $50.
You were like, you'll pay for that
No,
comment.
literally. And so he was like, fine. But if that had never happened, who knows where I'd be today, because Kingdom Hearts is still one of my favorite video game series, even though I fucking hate the third one.
Yeah, I hate the third one too. But I feel like Kingdom Hearts was actually the first thing that we really bonded over.
Yeah, it was.
So maybe we wouldn't have been friends.
True, because I would have been like, yeah, I play Halo.
And I'm like,
I love Xbox.
Like face away. Like the mic's gonna like, this is my distance from you.
I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a fire truck going by. That's what my life would have been like without Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, it's an emergency.
So then also that spurred like me playing Kingdom Hearts completely out of order. Because I think I did 2, 1 Chain of Memories.
Oh, so like how
Birth by Sleep.
Okay, that's interesting, because I played, 1, 2, then Chain of Memories. And then I blacked out until and then Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep came out, and I'm like, I'll play it. And then Kingdom Hearts 3. But
yeah, I played it out like not even like I played it in literally no order, because you could play Kingdom Hearts in release date order, or you could play it in chronological order.
Yeah,
which is like backwards.
Yes, that's true.
I played it in just like I just played it however the fuck I wanted. I was like 2, 1 Chain of Memories, and then by the time I had finished the 3 games, Birth by Sleep came out on PSP.
Yeah.
And I played it at my friend's house because I didn't own a PSP, but she did. So I played Birth by Sleep and Crisis Core on her PSP.
Oh, Crisis Core.
That's
cool.
I love Crisis Core. It makes me cry.
Yeah.
There's like a very select handful of games that I cry every time, despite knowing, and Crisis Core is one of them.
I can see that.
Final Fantasy X.
Oh, every time that it gets to the end.
When she like goes through him and she's trying to hug him, I'm like,
there's someone that I know that has played Final Fantasy X, but they haven't beaten it yet.
Oh my God.
And they've missed out on me crying. No,
on me shedding fucking tears.
No, but whenever it gets to the end of Final Fantasy X, I remember the first time, I mean, this isn't like, this game's been out forever. I'm sorry if it's a spoiler for some people, but
get over it.
Get over it. Get over it. But
I sound like Jet there a little bit.
Yeah. Oh man, I was Jet. But anyway, like I remember like Titus or Titus, however you say it.
Point of contention for many relationships.
Very many, yeah. But when you know that he's destined to do the thing that he's destined to do. Also, I'm being, polite, by the way. And the other person doesn't know that they're destined to do that. And then she finds out, and then you have to like see it in real time, her reaction to that destiny. Or
like when you find out as Titus what Yuna is destined to do.
Yes.
The whole time.
And
wow, like, destiny.
Destiny sucks. the game, everyone's like, I love that
Everyone's
game.
Like, fuck you, fuck Afterschool Special Club Podcast.
Love Destiny, bro. But anyway, that was, I also cry every single time that Final Fantasy, that ending. I watched it recently, like, because I like to make myself suffer. I like to make myself cry sometimes. I was like, I feel it. I'm like, I need to cry.
Final Fantasy X, I mean, on YouTube, Final Fantasy X ending.
And then I forget the music part, but I'm like, doo doo doo. And I'm like, I'm sad now.
I'm sad.
But yeah, you're right. Like, I don't really cry a lot when it comes to video games.
Right.
But there are select ones that just like fucking take a knife and they're like, you will cry. We will get your tears and your money.
And I'm like, yes, you will.
Yes, you will.
I've bought every remake of Final Fantasy X since it came out.
That's just music to my ears.
Remaster, I guess. They weren't remade. But yeah, because there's just so many like emotional like pitches in that movie. And I mean, sometimes it is a movie.
I mean, it's very cinematic.
The cinematics when they're kissing underwater.
That also, like, I'm sorry this turned into another Final Fantasy thing, but me and Chris love Final Fantasy, so you know,
suck it up. This is our podcast.
Yeah, that's right. We get to own it, and we make the rules. So you're gonna sit here and listen to us talk about Final Fantasy for another 10 hours.
Final Fantasy X for 10 hours.
Yes, but when I first saw, like, in Final Fantasy X, Yuna and Tidus making out, I had never, like, because Final Fantasy IX, like, they do a hug. Like, they hug
it's
at
so,
the end.
like, PG compared.
Yeah. And then I was expecting, like, because they're always very, you know, shy with the intimacy, I feel like, in Final Fantasy, like the romance. But this one they were like, and then Waka's like, oh shit.
Oh shit, I'm racist.
A self-realization that he's racist. I'll bet.
But yeah, no, there's just so many like emotional punches in that, like between, sorry, I'm just gonna spoil it. Between
oh no,
after Mary went through all that trouble to be discreet.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like between like Tidus finding out that like Yuna's literally gonna sacrifice herself to like kill Sin and it's not even permanent, and then Yuna finding out that like Tidus is literally just a fucking dream.
Yeah.
Like everyone is just basically on LSD. And dreaming about and like dreaming up Tidus.
And everyone has identity crises. They're like,
literally.
Yeah. Who am I?
And then at the end, you have to kill all of the Aeons.
Oh yeah, everyone that you've culminated a relationship with, you have to kill.
And like you've leveled them up, you've like summoned them, they're strong, and you have to fucking kill them.
They're making like wine out of our tears. They're
literally
like ripening it, and they're like squishing it down, and they're like, look at all these things you have to do to make yourself cry. But
all of that just for me to here's a cheat, by the way. Master your sphere grid, get zombie attack, final boss, kill it in like 3 seconds.
I did not know this.
Yeah, you can cast zombie on Yu Yevon.
Okay, so I know zombie. I didn't know that.
You can cast zombie on Yu Yevon and then just cure it. Or use a Phoenix down and like one hit it.
What?
Yeah. And this is like old school. This is still like old school Final Fantasy where it's like, you know, like final boss after final boss. There's like 10 sequences. You know?
Course.
There's like 3 jet sequences, and then like you have to kill the Aeons, and there's like all the like Yu Yevon sequences. But the final one where you're like fighting the like pyramid.
Oh yeah, the pyramid.
Like the final one.
Yes.
You can literally just do zombie hit or zombie attack, whatever it is. It is susceptible to zombie, and then you can just cure it to death.
I feel like our friendship just grew there.
Right?
Because I didn't know that.
Sharing the facts.
Now, because I have the Switch version. I like the Switch remaster version.
Easy.
Because I bought it in space. They were selling.
I found a copy on Jupiter.
They were selling in space, and I was like, this is a good deal. They're taking Earth money.
But wow, crazy.
Yeah. So I got the remaster for the Switch. So I'm going to play that now. And thank you for that advice.
Now you know. I wonder if they were just like, because that must have been intentional. Like, I wonder if they were just like, you know, after all of this fighting at the end, let's just make it easy. Because they probably knew like some bitch was going to try it. So they were like,
let's let him have it.
Yeah.
That's what the mentality was. Yeah, I could see that.
Because also some of the bosses in that game are like pretty hard. Like Unalesca.
Oh my, yes. Very hard. Very difficult. I died so many times. So many times. I was like, thank God I saved. Like, because that's the worst feeling when you get to a boss fight and you haven't saved.
This is pre-autosave,
yes.
everyone.
Yes, exactly. You guys that are privileged with autosave features.
You youths.
Yes.
As I take advantage of autosave every day.
Yes. And you don't have to and then you don't have to worry about data messing up and you going like, oh, sorry, we can't read that. The data is like, what's that? What was the warning it said? It was like data.
Oh, I can't remember.
Error, like it was data errors essentially. And then
memory cards.
Yeah, memory cards, which I still am dealing with because I play a lot of retro games.
Yeah.
So I collect retro games. So I have to, and I actually just found out recently that I have to buy more memory cards.
They still make them.
They still make them because I have so many retro games I have to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to actually talk about that a little bit later. But anyway, like, yeah. So you don't have to deal with autos. Like you don't have to deal with not having autosave and not dealing with data that's encrypted or like doesn't work. So anyway, if you got to a boss fight and in any Final Fantasy game, RPG especially, because RPGs, you have to grind between saves. And if you don't save that shit and then you get in a boss fight and you die, I feel emotionally drained. I'm
my God, right?
I'm like, I have to go back. I have to grind. How many levels did I went up 10 levels.
Right.
And then I fought this boss and I died. I have to go up 10 levels again and fight this boss? Yeah.
That happened to me when I was playing Final Fantasy VIII. Because you can go to like Cactuar Island and level up really easily.
Yeah.
I like did that. I leveled everyone up like 20 levels. I spent like an hour just doing that, just fighting Cactuar.
This is why we're friends.
Yeah. So I did that. And then because then I think I went to do, what is it? The submarine?
Oh, yeah.
And like fight, which, it's not Omega Weapon.
No.
Anyway, whatever.
If you played it, you know it.
Yeah, if you know, you know. To fight that enemy because it's like the super enemy or whatever, and I fucking died, but I like for some reason didn't save. And I was just like, who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time. That was me. I think I put my Switch down and I just like had a moment. I like sat there and I was like,
because within those moments, before autosave, like thinking about, especially RPGs, thinking about all the time that you put into it. Because
right.
RPGs generally, if you're really hardcore about it, and I'm not talking about everybody can do different things. Right. But, generally Final Fantasy games, I have like 100+ hours.
Oh, yeah. So, I'm very, I'm not usually a completionist, but like with certain Final Fantasy games that I really love, I'm like Final Fantasy XII, like the original, because I had the metal box for PS2.
Yeah, I had the same exact, I bought it day one. I bought the steel case. Yes.
Steel case. I put over 250 hours into that. Everyone is at level 99. I have everything in that game. Okay. I even have Turnsaw, the most fucking annoying weapon to get because you have to do all these fucking collectible bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
But I love that game so much that I even made a YouTube video in like 2008. I was telling you about this. We tried to find it, but it's gone. I made a YouTube video about how to grind to get Gil really easily.
And I remember when you told me this story where you uploaded this video, immediately A, wanting to see the video.
Yeah. And
B, going like, my respect for you has grown. Like,
it got 100,000 views.
That is amazing.
I could have been rich.
And then we could have funded our podcast.
Right. This was before monetization on YouTube was a thing.
That's true. Side note for monetization. Thank you for anyone who donated to the GoFundMe that we had. I did buy lights with that money. So I really, appreciate that.
We're not using them right now, but
yeah, we're not using them right now because we're in between things and we're a work in progress, which you guys can relate to. Everyone can relate to being a work in progress. So anyway, thank you for donating that money. Go on.
Yeah, and all we found was a video of me playing piano that I also uploaded 10 years ago, which I was like, hey.
Yeah.
So yeah, but for anyone who's interested, if you go to the Still Shrine of Miriam, you have to fight Zeromus first. You have to get that Esper. And then once you do, you can go back to that chamber where you fight him, and like the skeleton enemies will just like respawn, and you can get like 300 chain if you keep leaving and coming back, like teleporting back to the main hall where you enter and then going back to that room. You can keep your chain and just like you get whatever it is, like festering flesh or something, maybe bones or something. You can sell them and you can make like 1 million gil at a time.
That's so impressive.
Yeah, because the Turnsaw, first of all, costs I think like 12 million gil or something. It's ridiculous. It's like ridiculously expensive in the bazaar, and it's also like the items needed to craft it are just like so hard to get. So I put like 250 hours into that game.
That's awesome. See, that's awesome. I hear like, okay, I hear when people put a lot of time into games, like 250 hours, 150 hours, whatever the amount. I'm like, that impresses me.
Like how? I mean, I was in school, like I was in high school. That's why I had that time. I'm like, I don't think I could do that now.
Yeah, no, I'm in a similar boat where I'm like, I'm lucky if I get like an hour here and there in games, even though I love them so much. It's hard with a adult job. But at the same time, like there are some people that I remember I told someone, I think it was actually on this past visit to space, but I told someone that I had played over 150 hours of Final Fantasy IX because I want to get all the ultimate weapons. And they were like, oh, that's a lot of waste. That's a waste of time.
Ew, shut up.
And I was like, and immediately, like, I was like, I registered in my brain that, okay, some people don't understand what video games really are.
Right.
Some people think that video games, when you think video games, you're like, oh, it's just a, thing to, it's a toy, right?
Right. It's a toy that it's not worth your time, or that it's like, people think it's just like arcade cabinets and it's like, oh, you like play for like 5 minutes. Then you're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's so much more than that. It's collaborative artwork. It's, it's music. It's things that you identify with your personality. Like right now, I don't know if you could tell, I'm wearing like a cactar riding a skateboard, like from Final Fantasy. So these things are tied to my identity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm proud of it. And it's hard for people who aren't involved in video games to really identify with that. And I'm I can understand their perspective.
Sure.
But I used to be offended when people were offended by the amount of time I spent with video games.
Yeah.
Right.
I know. I used to get like really upset about it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're at a point where you're like, okay, like I'm actually proud of like being a gamer?
Oh yeah. Cause I feel like before it was just like, cause I felt like it was like a personal attack. Like people were like judging. Cause yeah, like 250 hours is a lot of fucking time.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a lot of time.
But I don't know. It's just like, I think about like people like my brother who like just watch the same movie like 10 times. And to me, I'm like, why would you do that? I'm like, Dark Knight Rising is not that good.
Oh, you told me.
It could be. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I mean, I love that movie, but you told me that he did that anyway.
Yeah, and it's like, and I used to be that person towards him. I'd be like, why the fuck do you watch movies so much? Mm-hmm. But it's like now being like that with video games, where I'm like, I'm the person who plays like so many hours of video games, and other people just like don't understand it. I'm like, that's fine. Like, it's like, to me, like you said, it's like, it's a part of my identity, and it's like and again, like I like those really long story driven games that like stir some sort of emotion in me. And it's the same reason that people like movies or TV shows, and like art in general, because it is an art form. And so I feel like I'm not as militant about it now, because I understand other people's perspectives towards, like, I understand like both perspectives of like respecting it, or like on the opposite end being like, ew, what the fuck?
Yeah, of course. Because there are some people that just don't like one time when I was like a teenager, I got my mom to play Sims. So my mom was born in like 1954. So like she's like a boomer essentially. So I got her to play Sims because I played so much Sims when I was younger, like so many hours.
I have a funny Sims story after you're done.
Love it. But anyway, so I gave her the controller. I was like, here, like play Sims, because she loved watching me play games. Yeah. And my dad also really supported me playing games. Yeah. He bought me, I mean, he passed away now, but he bought me my first copy of Tomb Raider 3.
Damn.
For the PlayStation.
Boob Raider?
Yes. And there's a picture of me holding it up, like triumphantly going like, I have Tomb Raider 3.
There's a picture of me. My parents bought me The Sims 2. For my birthday one. So there's like a similar photo of me with like, because remember like computer games used to come in like those huge boxes.
Oh yeah, I used to have
so I had this like laptop sized box that was just like The Sims 2. Memories all alone in the moonlight.
Booblight. Those are our segues, by the way. And actually, this will work out when we have sponsors, because we can just insert where we sing. Just like
I'll cut that out and put the sponsor in, and I'll be like, this episode is sponsored by Booblight.
Do you want your titties to shine? But yeah, anyway, what we were talking about with Sims. So I gave her the controller, and she loved watching me. And I think that's a really good, that's also why like Twitch is really popular right now. It's like people love to watch people play games. Yeah. And some people, that's the only thing they like to do, is they like to contribute by watching and not by actually playing.
See, I mean, and like I love, like, this, I love watching people play video games too. Just as much as I like playing them. Like whenever we hang out and you're like, do you want to play? I'm like, no.
And I respect that. Yeah. Like I respect that about you. I'm like, I'm not going to like pressure you to like play something, because I know that sometimes you just like to observe. And
even party games. I don't like participating in party games.
Yeah, some of them I don't because it feels like everyone's trying to like whip out their dick at the same time. Like, not to say that like some people don't have dicks, but metaphorically, everyone has dicks.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone has that ego, right? Like you try to
That's the
whip
title
it out.
of this episode. Metaphorically, everyone has dicks.
Please, yes. Anyway, so sidetrack. So she, anyway, played The Sims 2. I think it was Sims 2. And she was like, wow, this is actually harder than I thought it would be. And I was like trying to be like, you press up and you press up to move and you press like, and it was so cute.
Yeah, of course.
She was trying to connect to me. And I was like, oh, that's so amazing. And I feel like there's a lot of parents and like people out there and other people in general that don't support people playing video games because they think it's a waste of time, or they think that it's promoting violence, or they think that it's promoting this type of mentality, which a lot of it is like, the reason I play video games is because it inspires me in my real life. It helps me through so many moments of trauma, and I have so much to thank for it.
Oh, yeah.
And let's segue into your Sims 2
story.
Yeah, I was going to say,
speaking of trauma.
Your Sims 2 experience.
Maybe it was traumatic for my dad. I don't know. But so basically, I mean, I've played The Sims since The Sims 1 on my dad's gateway in Windows 98 operating system.
I heard a tumbleweed just like come in the background.
And I used to frequent online forums. And this is back when they were like HTML pages, where you could download mods. So this would have been like early 2000s, maybe like mid, like 2004, 2005. And maybe even earlier, because if we still had our gateway, I can't really pinpoint the time.
Circa 1974?
Yeah, 1908.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was when it was still just The Sims 1, and I would download mods. And being the mischievous child that I was, I used to download nude mods. So there were mods that would like take the pixelation off when you were showering, and like you could get like nude mods where it would like, they weren't, and it wasn't 3D though, so like you would have a dick but it was still 2D.
my life in store to my 2D dick.
Maybe that should be the episode title. Yeah. Man, I'm gonna have so much to go off of.
My dick is 2-dimensional. It's a South Park episode.
Okay. But no, so I had like downloaded these like nude mods because I don't know, because I was a little shit. Like I was a kid. Like
you were like, I want to see the parts.
Right, I was like,
all the parts. Yeah.
Even though, like I said, it wasn't 3D, so it's just like. And I just remember, like I don't know what I was doing. I don't think I was doing anything in particular because it's The Sims. So like you weren't doing anything. Like my Sims were just doing whatever. They were like walking around, but like they weren't wearing clothes. And I just remember my dad came up behind me. And like saw.
Okay. First off, let me talk about this. First off, sorry to interrupt you. Why do parents and or other people in general know the exact time to interrupt what you're doing and like come in at the absolute
just feel it.
Worst time, like movies, video games where there's like a sexy scene going on.
Oh yeah, they just know.
Or like an awkward scene where like it's just awkward. Yep. They just know when to burst in, like, what are you watching there? Yeah. And it's like, and you feel like you're just like sitting there and you're like watching it and you're watching them watch it. Yeah. And you're like, oh God. You're like, I gotta go.
And it's so funny because it's like we've all had sex.
Sorry. Actually, I guess this is the time to say it.
I am the 40-year-old virgin.
I am the 29-year-old virgin mobile.
Steve Carell. No, but it's like, it's so true. Like people just know when to come in, and it's awkward for like no reason. It's like if I watch like a movie with my parents and there's like a sex scene, I'm like, we all had sex. Like I'm here.
Do you say this like?
No, but I should. I should be. We've all had sex.
Like, okay, there's like a sexy scene going on. You know, there's like Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lawrence. Don't ask me about that combo. It just came up naturally.
I was like, is there?
So they're doing it on screen. I'm sorry. Do you like turn? So they're like, boom, you know, kissing on screen, and then you just like turn to your parents in seriousness, and you're like, we all have sex. Accept it.
Not even we all have sex. Like it's just a constant thing. It's like we've all had sex. Like in the past. I'm here, so you two have had sex.
You're 10 years old. We've all had sex. Your parents are like scarred.
They're like, what? Wait, wait, I have another story.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no.
Oh my God. Okay. So let me finish this one first.
Okay, yes.
So yeah, like it shouldn't be awkward because we've all had sex.
I mean, I
exist, so
you're right.
So they've had sex, and like I've had sex because I'm saying I've had sex.
You're like, I think of you often having sex to birth me. Go on.
So yeah, he came up like right behind me and was like, "What's that?" Because it was just like my female sim was just walking around like topless. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, like I don't even remember. Like I blacked out after that moment. But I just remember him being like, and then he didn't want me to play The Sims anymore after that. Because he thought that it was that was what the game was, and I didn't have the heart or ability to tell him like, no, like I did this. Like I downloaded a patch.
I created this.
No, somebody else created this and I downloaded it from a sketchy forum.
I made my family and I was like, I want to see them naked. Whew, that's funny. That's really funny. Yeah, no. So we've learned today that parents can be accepting of video games.
Yes.
But parents can also come in at the inopportune times.
Right, while you're running your nude patch.
Yeah. And judge you. So at the end of the day, parents suck.
Parents suck. Get rid of parents. Am I right, parents?
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. How long have we been doing this for? I feel like it's time. Can you read that? I'm not wearing my glasses.
No, I can read it actually from here.
Hello, mother.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Oh God, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Oh wow, 50 minutes.
Okay, so we
have a sixth sense.
That's right.
For the podcast ending.
So yeah, we've been talking a while. It's been fun.
We can save your topics for next week.
Yes, I had a couple topics, but they're not important because I'm glad that we had this conversation.
Yeah, we were just catching up.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
We've seen each other so many times since Mary got back from Jupiter, but.
Yeah, but you're going to Jupiter soon, so.
Get more stupider, finally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I did. But I'm glad we had this conversation. It was kind of about video games, kind of about life, which is kind of what we actually do in real life anyway. So anyway, I hope that you've enjoyed this conversation that we've had.
Hit that motherfucking like button if you want nude patches for the podcast.
Yeah, if you subscribe, we actually send you an email
with nude patches.
Yeah, only to the PC versions. So you have to go out and find the PC versions of Sims and do this. But
on your Windows 98 operating system on your gateway computer.
Yeah, so it's a lot of work, but
it's
honestly,
worth it.
I feel like it's worth it.
It's pretty worth it.
Chris says. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed this ramble, but it's a fun ramble.
It was a pretty good ramble.
Yeah. And I'm going to miss you when you're gone to Jupiter. And I wish you the best of luck in space. I feel like you're going to be a great astronaut.
Thank you. I'm bringing my pocket Wi-Fi router so we can do the podcast in space.
Yeah. So you guys, if you actually tune into the next episode, you're going to see Chris
in space,
and me on planet Earth.
God, I'm revolutionary.
Yeah. So tune in to next week to see some, or to hear some, because some of you aren't even watching, you're only listening.
Which is fine. I mean, there's not much to see.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I'm like not that great to... Anyway, so...
I'm sweating.
Yeah.
So there's not much to see.
You look glorious.
Thank you.
But anyway, so thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye guys.
Bonjour.